All right, this next topic we are looking at a couple of different configurations for securing access to our Cisco routers. So first of all, we should already know how to configure SSH version 2, and if you don't, we are going to show you how to do it. So a couple things that we need to remember with this is, first of all, we need to make sure that we have a host name and a domain name that is unique to the device. All right, that information is going to be tied to generating the RSA key pair. And of course, we are also going to configure some local user accounts. Of course, you don't have to use local user accounts, but we're going to look at that config. It is maybe good to have a local user account as a backup in the event that your AAA server goes down for any reason or you can't get to it. We'll look at enabling the local auth on the VTY lines, and then of course enabling SSH version 2. So first, change that host name, and that should actually change our command prompt. A little bit of a typo there. IP domain name, whatever it is that our organization is using. Then we use a crypto key generate RSA modulus. Minimum of 1024, but of course you can use a bigger key size if you'd like. And our local user account is going to be referred to as admin, and we're going to store that as a secret MD5 hash. Here's our password. And then we need to log into our VTY lines. We'll do a login local if we want to use that local user account. And then that transport input SSH says, hey, VTY lines, I only want to allow SSH. I don't want to use any telnet. Last but not least, we have to make sure that we actually enable SSH version 2. Also, we talked about disabling HTTP, which is on, so we need to do a no IP HTTP server, and if we don't already have HTTPS enabled, you can do an IP HTTP secure server enabled. All right, and additionally, access can be authenticated against the local user database with the command IP HTTP authentication and local. All right, we discussed management in theory with our ACLs. We didn't look at actually applying them. So here, if we are going into our VTY lines to apply an access list, this access list says, hey, I only want to permit traffic from the 10.10.10 subnet. Everything else we want to deny and go ahead and log it. So instead of using the access group command, we are going to be using the access class command on our VTY lines. All that traffic will be coming inbound, or it will be applied on ingress. All right, and if we also want to reference the access class for HTTP, we can do that as well. And last but not least, here is a reminder of how we can reference the ACL of 90 with our SNMP group and our SNMP user. So this is falling off the line a little bit on the group command, but when you tack on that ACL at the end, it'll ensure to apply everything that is in that ACL. Now, there is a video that demonstrates some of the CPP and the CPPr. So here's a quick overview. This is the extended access list of everything that we might want to permit. And then when we create a class map, we can reference whatever it was that we created in that CPPr management extended ACL in that first step. Then we can reference a policy map, and basically we can start indicating what it is that we want to do. So we can start rate limiting for 50 packets per second, and if we exceed that action, then we can drop it. All right, so we can apply that to the class defaults, and we can also go into our control plane host and we can apply it there as well. So we discussed this a little bit a few other times, making sure we're disabling HTTP and Telnet whenever possible, or potentially disabling CDP or LLDP in certain parts of our area, making sure that we're locking down DNS and maybe not even using SNMP version 2 anymore since we have the secure version 3.